So what I'm going to do is go through the next assignment and just kind of basically tell you what you need to do for this. I call it Iconize Yourself. So it's just taking a selfie of yourself, a self-portrait, and turning that into an illustration of some sort. So you can do it easily in Figma. Let me show you in Figma first, and then I'll show you in Illustrator. And I think in Canvas, I have the whole assignment set up in a video. So if you watch the video, it goes through the whole process, but I don't have it set up in Figma. So let's say you want to do the first assignment. It's called Iconize Yourself, and you want to use Figma. So you go to figma.com, you sign up for Figma, you click on New Design File, and this opens up. And the idea behind this assignment is you're going to take a photo and bring it into Figma or Illustrator and reduce the opacity of the photo. So you're going to use the photo as a template and draw on top of it. Now, in Illustrator, when you do that, I recommend bringing the photo in. You have it set to a layer, and then you create a new layer, and you draw on top of that layer. One of the big differences between Figma and Illustrator is every time you create something in Figma, it creates the layers for you automatically. So in Illustrator, you look at Illustrator, let me just drag Illustrator. You look at Illustrator and you have lots of menus, you have lots of windows that you can drag out, panels that you drag out, lots of tools, right? And you may not have all these tools when you open up Illustrator for the first time. You may see less, but I can show you how to see all the tools. But you have a lot of information on the screen. So Figma works in a different way where it really is giving you really the only necessary things you need to be concerned about as you're working. So there's no layers panel in Figma. There's no property panels in Figma. You have the two side areas in Figma. So the left is basically your layer, and layers get created as you add information into Figma itself. And on your right, this would be considered your properties area where you can change colors or change styles of things as you're working. So you have your two areas. Your whole menu is basically found at this Figma logo. So all of your menus are found here, and then your basic tools are found along here. So you have your basic tools. You have a selection tool, you have a shape tool, you have a frame tool, you have type, you have the hand tool to move things around, and you have this little comment tool too, because you can communicate with a file and have people share one file and send notes back and forth. So it's very basic. You look at the two and you see a lot of things in Illustrator and you see less in Figma, but Figma can do everything that you want. So the assignment is going to ask for us an image as the template, and then it's asking for two documents, two canvas sizes to create your iconized illustrations. So you're going to need an 8.5 by 11 for the first illustration, and then an 11 by 17 for the second illustration. The first illustration will just have one iconized version of you, and the 11 by 17 will have three variations of that one. So in Figma, you can create a page, let's say, by clicking on the frame tool. It's F with a shortcut. And once you click on that, this sidebar opens up and you have all these options here. So these options represent different devices, different screen sizes, different ways to convey media in different ways. So you have a paper option down here, and you can pick letter, and you can double click on that, and that's your letter size. And then we can zoom out. So we can do a command minus, you can zoom out, and then you can use the space bar to move around on the canvas. And the shortcuts for Figma are actually really the same as the shortcuts for Illustrator. So I'm going to have one initial design on an 8.5 by 11, and then I'm going to click the frame tool again, and I'm going to pick tabloid for my other design. But for the tabloid, I actually want to have the tabloid set up landscape. So the initial frame here for the letter size is set up portrait. I want this set up landscape for the tabloid because I want three designs next to each other. So if you look at the properties on the side, you can go to frame and click on the second option next to frame where it shows this, and it actually tells you it's landscape. You click on that, and now the tabloid is landscape. So those are two formats that are always universally used throughout the world of design. People say it's all about the ratio, right? So if it's portrait, the height is always greater than the width, and if it's landscape, the width is always greater than the height. So these are your basic pages to work on this project.